welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lilian. If it's your first time stopping by, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, returning viewer, you're also welcome. If you're not subscribed, subscribe down below and support my channel. Please guys, support. So today I want to talk about the Ultimatum, and I want to talk about episode 6 to 10. So I remember, like, when I did the first review, I was like, oh yeah, I can probably go for this type of show. It's not really bad, you know. It didn't at least the first half didn't seem really bad, but once I got into like episode 6, 7, 8, man, I was just like, wow, this is so exhausting. Like, things just took a turn basically from what it was before. And I remember like the scene where April was like, oh, she might be pregnant, and like Rae was standing there, like the other girls were standing. I just feel like at that point I actually shut down, because there's just so much going on. You know, the entanglement or whatever you want to call it, it's just too much. Like, this person is dating this person's boyfriend, and it was just weird. So I don't know, for some reason it felt like my brain was no longer processing like what was going on. I just thought that was interesting. So in terms of drama, I feel like the drama in the Ultimatum is like, they took it to another level basically, because on regular reality TV shows, like, even though there's drama, I don't think the drama is as intense as this. And this was just, there was just so much going on. I feel like because people were dating each other's partner, it just made it so weird. And they, you know, they were all in the same environment. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Initially I was really open-minded. I was like, oh yeah, but seeing the second half, I'm just like, man, wow. But it was interesting, it was fun. I think I really enjoyed watching the reunion. It was just refreshing to see them in a different setting basically. With that being said, I'm just gonna jump right into the video. First of all, I'm gonna talk about Zay. Zay is obviously one who has anger issues. You know, we saw that while watching the show. Zay is someone who's had like a traumatic childhood, a traumatic past basically. I feel like if you're someone who's dealt with like issues in your past, even if it's your parents dealing with issues and you were in that kind of environment, it's really important that you find a partner who suits you, who's understanding, who can be patient with you and work with you alongside. You don't want to get a partner who's gonna trigger you basically, or gaslight like the situation where you're even more provoked and angry. I feel like you guys should figure out a way to work things together. And I feel like a classic example of people which we've all seen, and this happened like a couple years, like almost 10 years back. I really don't like the fact that I'm bringing it up, but I just wanted to bring it up and just say, I wanted to talk about like Chris Brown and Rihanna, which is, oh gosh, I hate bringing this up, but I think it's just a classic example of two people who's actually had a traumatic childhood, and they were really young, and you can see all of a sudden, you know, sometimes when I actually look at Chris Brown, I really feel for him, because I feel like he's someone who never recovered from that situation. Like it or not, he actually never recovered. It's a classic example of why, you know, if you've had like traumatic childhood, don't just go dating around looking for validation somewhere. You actually need to ensure that you're looking for someone who's stable, and you guys, even if the person has had a traumatic past, as long as you guys are willing to heal and work together, I feel like that would take you guys a long way, as opposed to just dating for dating's sake. And you know, like, obviously when it comes to relationship, it's always going to be argument, it's always going to be getting to know the other person, not understanding the person, complaining, because you guys are from two different environments, two different backgrounds. So I feel like that's just gonna happen, and then maybe you guys can so that's just definitely gonna happen. It's something that would be expected once in a while, before maybe both of you kind of understand each other and move forward from there. Anyways, I don't really want to talk about outsiders. I just want to center this around the Ultimatum. So the other person I really want to talk about is Madlyn and Colby. Honestly, I know Madlyn, she's in love with Colby. Like, I don't know how someone wouldn't see that. It's interesting because there's a lot of ladies nag, but I think they just nag like out of frustration, or they are just irritated about something that you do and they don't know how else to like complain, so they just keep nagging and saying it, hoping that saying it over and over would like change the situation. So I think Madlyn, she was just nagging, complaining about like 1 or 2 issues that she had, and I really like the fact that Colby was so patient with her, was able to come around, because a lot of people have lost their relationships just because they can't really understand each other, and let's say once the lady starts nagging, it's like the guy shuts down and is no longer interested again. So I just felt like that was interesting to see how like Colby was like really patient. He knew that this is the girl I want, and he was willing to do everything to get that person. That was something that I was really happy to see while watching the reunion and just watching the entire show, and the fact that they got married. Obviously I wasn't expecting their marriage, but I knew they were going to end up together, just because the guy was like really invested and was just waiting for her to come around. With that being said, Jake, April, Rae, oh my gosh. So obviously I knew Jake was going to choose Rae, and I actually mentioned that in my previous video, you know, the Ultimatum, the part 1 review that I did. I knew Jake was going to choose Rae, but it's interesting how things ended up and how things unfolded. Yeah, I just thought that was crazy. I just thought it was interesting, the fact that Rae, she's dating a lady now. Like, what a show. Like, geez, like, wow. I can't really explain anything. Obviously I feel like there's other things that happened that they didn't really talk about, because, you know, it's not really our business. But yeah, good luck to them, that's all I can say. Crazy, you know. I don't really want to, yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, the fact that Jake and April, you know, they went back together, you know, they were still living in the same house, in the same apartment. Man, this is such, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend any person to go into that show, except you know for a fact, well, I guess it's the Ultimatum. So if you really think about it, it's like, you know what, it's either we're coming out together or we're not coming out together. So I guess you must have reached the point of, oh my gosh, that this relationship, I can't anymore, you know, let's just see how it's gonna go after now. I feel like that's the point you have to get to be able to go for such shows. I don't know, that's just how I feel personally. The other person I want to talk about is Randell and Shanique. I do personally believe that Shanique was not upfront during filming. She probably told Randell what happened after filming, you know, after the engagement, and they ended up breaking up. I really think that's what happened. And then maybe Randell like watched the video, kind of watched how things played out, you know, how like her and Zay and whatever they did together. Maybe he decided to come around because, you know, it was kind of the heat of the moment. They had an argument, she was not really understanding him, and that's why, this is one reason why, you know, one thing I've learned, okay, I'm going to talk about what I've learned afterwards. Yeah, so I don't know, you know, it seems like he's forgiving her. So yeah, I don't know, it's, yeah, I mean, they seem like a strong couple, you know. If she didn't make the mistake that she made, I feel like they would have, you know, gone farther than this. But I can't believe she decided to like take 2 steps backwards, you know. That's why sometimes it's really good to be patient. Like, patience is a virtue, I can't even lie. And I feel like for Nate and Lauren, I don't really have much to say, because obviously I feel like for Nate and Lauren, I already like reviewed them in my previous video. So if you haven't watched it, I'm gonna put like the card up here so you can go ahead and watch my previous video. I do have a chapter dedicated to Nate and Rae, and Lauren, as well as Alexis and Hunter. So they also have like a section or a chapter, you know, where you know, you can see what I said about them. So with that being said, the things I'm gonna mention, a few things that I've learned is like, man, like if you're I feel like relationship is actually a lot of work. Even if things are so like, you guys have like a strong chemistry, you guys like know how to like communicate with each other, it's still gonna be a lot of work. It's still gonna be a lot of like forgiving, a lot of understanding each other, a lot of patience. It's just a lot of work that's gonna go in if you really want to be in a relationship. And one thing I realized is, except the only time where it's not really a lot of work is maybe one person is like very reserved, and you know, they're just carefree. They don't really care about like how you do things. You know, you say this, and sometimes that can actually be a problem in a relationship, because it's gonna be as if the partner is too passive, you know, because you want someone who has their own opinion, you know, they're able to communicate depending on who you are and depending on your personality anyways. Yeah, with that being said, some of the takeaways is, do not shut down. I feel like if Shanique was able to deal with her conversation with Randell, you know, during like the first 5 episodes, like where before she went back and like was intimate with like Zay, if she was honest with Randell, and you know, she was open, if she communicated the things that she needed to say at that point, and they dealt with that situation there and then, that would have actually saved her like the mistake. That would have prevented her from making the mistake that she made when she went back home. That's why sometimes it's not good to have people like in your personal space, like, you know. So yeah, so I really feel like if it's important not to shut down, or even if you're going to shut down, let your partner know that, oh, you see what, at this point, oh my god, you know, Colby actually did that. I can't remember the episode, but Colby was, I think when him and Madlyn were having like a conversation, and she wanted to talk about it now, and you know, Colby was like, you know what, I'm exhausted, I can't really talk about this now, you know, I don't have that mental capacity to handle this situation. I feel like letting your partner know does help a lot, rather than leaving the person hanging and you just leave them frustrated, and you know. So that's one takeaway. The second thing I learned is it's good to express yourself well. You know, it's good to be able to express yourself, express your emotions. This is something that Zay and Rae, they were not doing, because Zay gets angry easily. Rae would usually be quiet, she won't talk about anything, she just shut down. And that's part of like shutting down. You know, Rae is someone who shuts down. Zay wants to talk about it, but it seems like he's already like heated up, and you know, he's already like angry or whatever. So man, like it's important to be able to let each other like speak and express themselves, express how they're feeling, and you guys can go from there. So that's also another thing that I've learned. And the other thing I want to say is nagging. A lot of women nag. Oh my goodness, it was so funny to see Madlyn and her friends, and you know, like this scene where they were all like, oh my gosh, this Colby guy is crazy, blah blah blah. I thought that was funny, but I think Colby was just generally patient, which is good. And I feel like most men should be patient with their wife or like partner, or you know, let them, if you don't like someone nagging, just let them know you don't like it. Because I know that most women nag, and most men have just like completely shut down and left the relationship just because they can't deal with like the situation about nagging. And personally, I really think Colby, like, kudos to Colby. I think he handled it well. The fact that he, you know, he went back and he just apologized, and you know, he just became the bigger person. And yeah, obviously that was soften any lady's heart, I think. The other thing I want to say is you know, listen to your partner. I feel like once, especially guys, actually, if you're able to listen to your partner, you kind of save yourself the issue of nagging, you know. Because most ladies nag because they've kind of complained about the situation once, twice. You haven't like dealt with it, or you haven't like you know, adjusted your character, or you just haven't listened to what they have to say. So they keep nagging, they keep repeating the same thing over and over again because they just want you to get that into your thick skull, you know. Digest what I'm saying, digest it, take it in. How else can you take it? You're just gonna keep shoving it in your face every day, you know. So yeah, so the last thing I just want to say is listen to your partner, basically. Yeah, anyways, that's gonna be a wrap up. Thank you guys for watching my videos. If you're not subscribed, support your girl, okay? Support me, guys, please. Do subscribe, like the video, comment down below if you have anything to say, anything to add, any suggestions. Like, put a comment down in the comment section, and I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video. Ciao.